Hey everyone, it's me Jenny and welcome to my channel. So in this video I'm going to show you how to crochet this mermaid tail. So as you can see, there's two sides right here. This is 0 to 3 months and this is 3 to 6 months. So I do have a tutorial I uploaded last year, almost the same pattern. This time I made slightly bigger tail, only 3 double crochet foundation round, and the top right here I just finish up with the shell stitch round. Okay, so for this 0 to 3 months and 3 to 6 months, it is the same pattern, just different yarn size and different crochet hook. And for this 3 to 6 months I add extra 2 round. Okay, so for the 3 to 6 months, okay, so for the tail without the fin, from here to here it is measure 13 inches 1-3, and the circumference around it is 16.5 inches, 16.5 inches. Okay, so I use 1 skein for the 0 to 3 months, and the yarn that I use is this ice yarn. This is a fine yarn number 2, 100% baby acrylic, and as you can see, this is a self-striping yarn. And also I only use 1 skein, and this is what I have left from the 1 skein. So this is 100 gram per skein, and the crochet hook that I use for 0 to 3 months is 4.5 millimeter. Okay, so for the 3 to 6 months, the length from here till this end it is 16 inches, and the circumference is 18.5 inches. Okay, so the yarn that I use for the 3 to 6 months is ice yarn as well. This is a lightweight yarn number 3, 100% micro acrylic. So I use 1.5 skein for this, so I've already finished up 1 skein, and this is the second skein, and there's still actually more than half right here. And the crochet hook that I use for the 3 to 6 months is 5 millimeter. Okay, so the same pattern, just different weight yarn and different crochet hook size. And for the 3 to 6 months I add extra 2 round. Okay, so for the 0 to 3 months, from the starting right here, the first round all the way up here, it's 26 round. And for the 0 to 3 months, from here all the way up here, it is 28 round. Okay, so for this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make the 0 to 3 months, but it is the same, doesn't matter what size you make, 0 to 3 months or 3 to 6 months, it is the same pattern, just different weight yarn and different crochet hook size. And for the 3 to 6 months I add extra 2 rounds only. Okay, so I have the pattern at the description down below, go ahead and check it out. And yeah, so let's start. Okay, so we're going to start by making a slip knot. We're going to make a loose slip knot. So this is how I made the slip knot. Just twist the yarn, hold it right there, hook into the loop, yarn over and pull the yarn through the loop. Okay, so we're going to work our round 1 into this loop right here. Okay, so for round 1 we're going to start with chain 2, 1, 2, and next we're going to make 12 double crochet. Okay, 12 double crochet into this loop, and this chain 2 does not count as one of the double crochet count. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so once you made all 12 double crochet, we're going to pull this tail right here to close up the hole at the middle. Okay, so now slip stitch. Okay, now for round 2, we're going to start with chain 2, 1, 2. Next, we're going to make 2 double crochet into every stitch. Okay, 2 double crochet into stitch 1, 2 double crochet into second stitch, 2 double crochet into third stitch. So stitch number 1, 2 double crochet, second stitch, 2 double crochet, 2 double crochet into the third stitch. Okay, so just go ahead and finish up round 2. Make 2 double crochet into every stitch. Okay, so I'll meet you at the end of round 2. Okay, so once you reach the end of round 2, you made 2 double crochet into every stitch. You should have total of 24 stitches altogether. So go ahead and slip stitch. Okay, now let's start with round 3. For round 3, we're going to start with chain 2, 1, 2. So next we're going to make 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet into the first stitch, and 1 double crochet into the second stitch, 1, 2. So next we're going to make 2 double crochet into the third stitch, 1 and 2. Okay, so the sequence for round 3, it's going to be 2 double crochet, 1, 2, and 2 double crochet into the next stitch. Okay, so 1, 2, and next 2 double crochet into the next stitch, 1 and 2. Okay, so go ahead and repeat the same sequence, 2 double crochet and 2 double crochet into the next stitch, and I'll meet you at the end of round 3. Okay, so once you reach the end of round 3, you should have total of 32 stitches. Okay, so go ahead and slip stitch. Okay, so now we're going to start the shell stitch, shell round. Okay, now let's start with round 4. For round 4, we're going to start with chain 1. So next we're going to make the shell stitch. We're going to make the shell stitch into the third stitch right here. Okay, so we're going to skip stitch number 1 and 2, and we're going to make the shell into the third stitch. Okay, so for the shell stitch, you're going to make 5 double crochet into the same stitch. Okay, so chain 1, skip 2 stitch, 1, 2, and we're going to make the shell stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so next we're going to skip 1 stitch, and we're going to make 1 single crochet into the next stitch. Okay, skip 1 stitch and 1 single crochet into the next stitch. Okay, make sure you make slightly loose single crochet because we're going to work the shell stitch from the next round shell stitch into this single crochet stitch. Okay, so once you make the single crochet, we're going to skip 1 stitch, and shell stitch next. Okay, so for the shell stitch, you're going to make 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so next we're going to skip 1 stitch and single crochet into the next stitch. Okay, and skip 1 stitch, and then we're going to make the shell stitch into the next stitch. Okay, so go ahead and repeat. Skip 1 stitch and single crochet, skip 1 stitch, shell stitch, skip 1 stitch, single crochet. Okay, so go ahead and repeat the same sequence, and I'll meet you at the end of the round. So at the last shell, you should have total of 1 stitch left. Okay, so go ahead and finish up, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so once you reach the end of round 4, you should have total of 8 shells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the last shell, we should have 1 stitch left at the end right here. Now to finish up, we're just going to make a slip stitch into this chain 1. Okay, the chain 1 from the earlier round. Okay, slip stitch. There you go. So now let's start with round 5. Okay, now let's start with round 5. For round 5, we're going to make 2 slip stitch into this stitch right here and this stitch. Okay, slip stitch number 1 and slip stitch number 2. So next we're going to make 1 single crochet into the next stitch right here, okay, on top of the 3rd double crochet shell. Okay, 1 single crochet. So this 1 single crochet is the mark of your beginning of round number 5. Okay, so place your stitch marker so you won't forget where's your beginning stitch. So once you made the 1 single crochet, so next we're going to make the first shell into this single crochet from the previous round. So earlier I mentioned to make a loose single crochet because we're going to make the shell stitch into the single crochet. Okay, now we're going to make our first shell stitch into this single crochet stitch. Okay, so 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so next we're going to make 1 single crochet on top of this shell right here. Okay, make sure you make a loose single crochet, and next we're going to make the shell stitch into the single crochet from the previous round. Two, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so that's the second shell. So next we're going to make 1 single crochet on top of the shell from the previous round, and so next another shell stitch. We're going to repeat the same, make the shell stitch into the single crochet from the previous round and the single crochet stitch on the shell from the previous round. Okay, so go ahead and finish up until you get total of 8 shells, and the 8 shells should end just right here. Okay, so I'll meet you at the end of round 5. Okay, so once you reach the end of round 5, go ahead and remove this stitch marker. Okay, so we made 8 shell. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, the last shell. So next we're going to slip stitch into the single crochet from the earlier round. Okay, this is the single crochet where we place the stitch marker. So go ahead and slip stitch into that stitch, the single crochet. Okay, so we're done with round 5. Okay, so next we're going to repeat the same for round 6. So once we made the slip stitch, go ahead and slip 2 more stitch, 1 2 1 2, and 1 single crochet on top of this stitch. 1 single crochet into the next stitch. So next, place the stitch marker so we know this is the beginning of the round. Okay, so we're going to do the same shell stitch into the single crochet stitch and 1 single crochet on top of the shell stitch. Okay, this is the first shell for round 6. 2 3 4 and 5. Single crochet on top of this shell and shell stitch into the single crochet stitch. Now 1 single crochet on top of the shell stitch. Okay, now you're going to do the same as round 5. Okay, we're going to make total of 8 shells. Once you reach at the end right here, you're going to slip stitch into this stitch and slip 2 more stitch to start the new round. Okay, once you're done with round 6, continue the same for round 7 and round 8, and I'll meet you at the end of round 8. Okay, so we're going to make 5 rounds of the shell stitch. Okay, go ahead and finish up, and I'll meet you at the end of round 8. Okay, so once you reach the end of round 8, okay, so go ahead and slip stitch. Okay, so slip stitch into the single crochet from early of the round. Okay, now let's start with round 9. We're going to make 2 slip stitch, 1 2 and 1 single crochet on top of the shell and place stitch marker. So this stitch marker is the mark, so this stitch is the mark of the beginning of the round. So for the next 5 rounds, instead of making 5 double crochet for the shell, we're going to make 6 double crochet. Okay, 6 double crochet, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Next, 1 single crochet on top of the shell and make the shell 6 double crochet, 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 1 single crochet. So go ahead and finish up round 9, and I'll meet you right here. Okay, so for round 9, instead of 5 double crochet for the shell stitch, we're going to make 6 double crochet. Okay, so I'll meet you at the end of round number 9. Okay, so once you reach the end of round 9, go ahead and slip stitch, remove the stitch marker and slip stitch into the single crochet stitch. Okay, so for the next 4 rounds, so we're done with round 9. So we're going to make 5 rounds of this 6 double crochet shells. So we're going to do this until you reach round 13. Okay, so this is round 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Okay, so go ahead and do the same. Slip 2 stitch, 1, 2, and 1 single crochet on top of the next stitch. Place your stitch marker, and we're going to start the same 6 double crochet shell stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1 single crochet on top of the shell. Okay, so go ahead and finish up until you reach round 13, and I'll meet you at the end of round 13. Okay, so repeat the same. Instead of 5 double crochet, we're going to make 6 double crochet for the stitch. Okay, I'll meet you at the end of round 13. Okay, so once you're done with round 13, this is how it looks like so far. As you can see, it's getting wider on top right here. Now I'm going to slip stitch into the single crochet stitch right here at the beginning of the round. Okay, so for the next few rounds, round 14, we're going to slip 2 stitch, 1, 2, and 1 single crochet. So from now on, we're going to make 7 double crochet for the shell stitch. Okay, 7 double crochet instead of 6 double crochet. So we made 5 double crochet shell, 5 round of 6 double crochet shells. So from now on, we're going to make 7 double crochet shell stitch. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, now 1 single crochet on the shell stitch, and now we're going to make another shell stitch, 7 double crochet. Okay, so go ahead and finish up round 14, and I'll meet you at the end right here. Okay, so once you reach the end of round 14, go ahead and slip stitch at the single crochet stitch from earlier round. Okay, so next we're going to slip 3 stitch, 1, 2, 3, and 1 single crochet into the next stitch. Okay, so from the previous round we slip stitch 2 stitch to start the new round, but because we have 7 double crochet right here, we're going to do 3 slip stitch. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. So next we're going to make 1 single crochet. Okay, so this 1 single crochet is the beginning of the round for round 15, so place the stitch marker. Okay, so from now on we're going to make 7 double crochet for the shell stitch. 7 double crochet shell stitch. Okay, we're going to do the same shell stitch, single crochet, shell stitch, single crochet. We're going to repeat until we reach 13 inches length. Okay, 13 inches. So right now, so far from here till this stitch marker, we are at 7 inches. Okay, 7 inches or 18 centimeter. Okay, so go ahead and finish up until you reach 13 inches, 1, 3, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so for the shell round from now on, you will make 7 double crochet shells. Okay, so for the slip stitch, you're going to make 3 slip stitch instead of 2 slip stitch. Okay, so go ahead and finish up until you reach 13 inches in length, and I'll meet you there. Okay, so once you reach okay, so once you crochet until 13 inches, 1 3 okay, I got 13 inches right there, and I got total of from round 1 all the way here, I got total of 26 rounds. And you might get more or less round depending on your tension of your stitch while you crochet. Okay, if you crochet it too tight, you might get more than 26 rounds, and if you crochet it loosely, you might get less than 26 rounds. Okay, that's why I asked you to crochet up to 13 inches length. Okay, once you get 13 inches, go ahead and slip stitch at this single crochet stitch from the early round. Okay, slip stitch, chain 1 to secure stitches, and cut the yarn. Okay, so we're done with the tail. Next, I'm going to show you how to crochet the fin. Okay, now that we're done with the tail, next I'm going to show you how to crochet the fin. Okay, so this is the fin. We're going to make 2 of these fin, and we're going to crochet both pieces together at the center right here. Okay, as you can see, this is a ribbing effect. Okay, we're going to crochet the fin using the ribbing stitch, where we're going to crochet into the back loop only, and I decrease 3 stitches every 2 rows. Okay, so we're going to start by making a slip knot. And now chain 37. Okay, chain 37. Okay, so once you made all 37 chain, so now let's start with row 1. For row 1, we're going to make 34 double crochet, and we're going to start into the 4th chain from the crochet hook. Okay, chain number 4. So this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, we're going to start right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so go ahead and finish up row 1, make it all the way till the end, and I'll meet you there. Okay, so once you're done with row 1, now let's start with row 2. We're going to start with chain 2, 1, 2, turn the work, and now we're going to make 34 double crochet, but we're going to crochet into the back loop only. Okay, so if you turn your work, this is how we normally crochet into, if you can see, there's 2 stitch right there. Okay, we're going to crochet into the back loop only, this one right here. Okay, make 34 double crochet and crochet into the back loop only, because we're going to create this ribbing effect. Okay, so go ahead and finish up row 2, make 34 double crochet and crochet into the back loop only. Okay, so I'll meet you at the end of row 2. Okay, so once you're done with row 2, this is how it looks like. So now for row 3, we're going to start with chain 2, 1, 2, turn the work. Okay, so next we're going to make 31 double crochet, 31 double crochet, and we're going to crochet into the back loop only. Okay, starting from the first stitch, crochet into back loop. Okay, so go ahead and finish up row 3, make 31 double crochet. You should end right here. Okay, you should have extra 3 stitch. Okay, so once you're done with row 3, let's start with row number 4. So row 4, start with chain 2, 1, 2, turn the work, and we're going to make 31 double crochet as well, and crochet into the back loop only. Okay, so for row 4 it's going to be the same as row 3, make 31 double crochet and crochet into the back loop only. Okay, go ahead and finish up row 4 and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so once you're done with row 4, so far this is how it looks like. So now for the next 2 row, row 5 and row 6, both round we're going to start with chain 2, 1, 2, turn the work and make 28 double crochet. Okay, so both row 5 and row 6, both round, start with chain 2 and make 28 double crochet. Okay, and crochet into the back loop only. So go ahead and finish up row 5 and row 6, and I'll meet you at the end of row 6. Okay, so once you're done with row 6, this is how it looks like. You can really see the ribbing effect because of the crochet into the back loop. So next, for the next 2 row 7 and 8, both row we're going to start with chain 2, 1, 2, turn the work, and we're going to make 25 double crochet. Okay, and crochet into the back loop only. Okay, so for row 7 and row 8, both rows start with chain 2 and make 25 double crochet and crochet into the back loop. So go ahead and finish up row 7 and 8, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so once you're done with row 7 and 8, okay, so next the next 2 row 9 and 10, both row we're going to start with chain 2, 1, 2, turn the work, and we're going to make 22 double crochet and crochet into the back loop only. Okay, so for row 9 and 10, both rows start with chain 2 and make 22 double crochet into the back loop only. Okay, so I'll go ahead and finish up this both row 9 and 10, and I'll meet you at the end of row 10. Okay, so once you're done with row 9 and 10, this is row 9 and row 10, this is how it looks like. We're almost done. So for the next 2 row 11 and row 12, both row we're going to start with chain 2, 1, 2, turn the work, and we're going to make 19 double crochet. Okay, 19 double crochet, and we're going to crochet into the back loop only. Okay, so go ahead and finish up row 11 and 12, make both rows start with chain 2 and make 19 double crochet. Okay, so go ahead and finish up, and I'll meet you at the end of row 12. Okay, so once you're done with row 11 and row 12, now let's start with row 13 and row 14. So both row we're going to start with chain 2, 1, 2, turn the work, and we're going to make 16 double crochet, and as usual crochet into the back loop only. Okay, so go ahead and finish up row 13 and row 14. Both rows start with chain 2 and make 16 double crochet, crochet into the back loop only. Okay, so I'll meet you at the end of row 14. Okay, once you're done with row 13 and 14, this is row 13 and 14. So far this is how it looks like. Okay, so for the next two row 15 and row 16, both row we're going to start with chain 2, 1, 2, turn the work, and we're going to make 13 double crochet. Okay, 13 double crochet, and we're going to crochet into the back loop only. Okay, so go ahead and finish up row 15 and row 16. Both rows start with chain 2 and make 13 double crochet, crochet into the back loop only. Okay, so I'll meet you at the end of row 16. Okay, so once you're done with row 15 and row 16, this is how it looks like. So the last row, row 17, we're going to make 10 double crochet. Okay, so start with chain 2, 1, 2, turn the work, and we're going to make 10 double crochet and crochet into the back loop only. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, chain 1 to secure and cut the yarn. Okay, I'm not going to cut the yarn because I already made the first. So if this is the first fin you made, the first fin, go ahead, chain 1 and cut the yarn, and go ahead and make the second fin, half of the fin, and don't cut the yarn once you reach the end. Okay, so go ahead and finish up both fin, both of the half fin, and I'll meet you once you're done. Okay, so once you made both of the fin, okay, so as you can see, I started at purple and right here purple. So next we're going to crochet both together. We're going to do single crochet stitch and attach both fin together. Okay, so you want to make sure you line up the ends well and stitch just using a single crochet to join them together. Okay, so once you're done, chain 1 to secure and cut the yarn. Okay, so once we join both pieces together, so this is the single crochet, it still look like it is part of the ribbing stitch because you can't really see the single crochet. It blend into the ribbing stitch. Okay, next you want to grab your needle and a very long yarn. So what you're gonna do is just go in and out on every row, just on top of the fin, to create a ruffle for the fin. Okay, so in and out into every row. Okay, so once you reach the end, go ahead and make few knots just to secure all the stitches. And once you make the knot, you don't have to cut the yarn because we're going to use the same yarn to attach the fin and the tail together. Okay, next I'm going to show you how I attach the fin and the tail together. So there's no really specific way how to do it. I just start at round 3. So this is 1, 2, 3, and I just the needle go in the fin and out at the tail at row 3 right here. Okay, so I just repeat the same in and out from the fin and the tail until I reach the other end of round 3. Okay, so once I reach the end, I'm going to do the same and sew it back to where I began, just to make everything secure. Okay, so there you have it. This is how I crochet this mermaid tail for size 0 to 3 months. You can also use the same pattern for 3 to 6 months, as I mentioned in earlier this video. For the 0 to 3 months, you use fine weight yarn number 2 and 4.5 millimeter crochet hook, and for 3 to 6 months, you use lightweight yarn number 3 and 5 millimeter crochet hook. Okay, so I do hope you find this tutorial easy to follow. If you have any question, leave your question at the comment section down below. I will try my best to reply. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and also I do appreciate if you share this video with any of your crochet friends. And also don't forget to follow me on social media, Facebook and Instagram. Okay, so now thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day and take care everyone.